Everyone, it is time for Weather Geeks on this Friday. It's the final weekday of a historic February across the valley, and we'll talk about the weekend in just a second. Real quickly, in case you missed this thread on Facebook this morning, posted a couple of great pictures this morning of some cool optical phenomena. A lot of ice crystals floating in the air this morning. It happens sometimes when it gets really cold. Of course, a lot of us were below zero this morning. So these two shots were from Lisbon. Basically, you could call these things any number of things. A lot of people call them snow rainbows or vertical rainbows, but they're actually circumhorizontal arcs or sun pillars, ice pillars. There's any number of different things you can call them. Look at this one. That's a really neat one from Kim Allison. Let's show you a couple more here. Layla in her rear view mirror in her car. So that's a good one. Let's see. And this one from Kimberly. Another, looks like a rainbow that's, or a section of a rainbow, but it's actually not caused by rain. It's caused by the ice crystals in the air. So, cool stuff this morning. Thank you for everyone who submitted stuff on Facebook this morning. Cool pictures. All right, so it is cold out, but, I drove into work today, and I almost rolled down the window in my car. My car had been sitting out in the sun, and it's late February. Even though it's frigid, the sun's getting higher in the sky. It's getting stronger at this time of the year, and it can really heat up your car if your car is sitting in the sun. So it really, to me, did not feel like it was only 10 degrees on my drive in because my car was pretty warm. We are cloud-free for the most part. A few cumulus clouds floating up there, but otherwise all of this gray is just snow on the ground. Ice-covered Lake Erie, of course. Lake Ontario has ice more than usual in a winter, but it is so deep that there's a lot of open water. Huron's pretty much ice-covered, and then a lot of Lake Michigan is open water right now. Radar's quiet, and on the surface map I've got the isobars plotted up here. Big, strong area of high pressure out here across parts of Missouri, Iowa, and into Illinois, and this is going to drift overhead tonight. That's going to make the wind completely calm tonight, and the temperature is going to drop like a rock. We've got snow on the ground. It's a real recipe for cold overnight tonight. Temperatures across the country this afternoon just remarkably cold, and the cold is actually migrated west. A lot of the Rockies have had a decent winter in terms of temperatures with the cold centered over here, but now the Rockies getting in on the act. Denver's in the teens, single digits this afternoon. We've got cold all the way down into the Gulf Coast. Only southern Florida is not participating, and of course the desert Southwest not participating in winter today, but the rest of the country is certainly shivering. All right, in the near term, we've got you covered. You know what to expect tonight. It's going to be cold. At the airport, record low 8 below. I think we'll break that record low. By the way, that record just set last year. About 11 or 12 below at the airport tonight. Nobody lives at the airport. Where you live, out across the valley, I think there's going to be a lot of backyard thermometers that touch 15 below. And in the coldest sheltered valleys, 20, 22 below. A good bet. And the really, really cold spots, the traditional really cold valleys up in Ashtabula County, places such as Rome and Pierpont, I think there's going to be a minus 28, somewhere in that neighborhood, overnight tonight. The good news is tomorrow will feature a quick warm-up, and it's going to be a good day to wash your car tomorrow. Get a layer of salt off there because the salt's going to be getting caked on again starting on Sunday. Let's go ahead to Sunday because, of course, there's lots to talk about here with our storm. Let me bring up the latest NAM model. And we'll skip ahead to Monday morning. This is in the middle of the night, Saturday night, into Sunday morning, I should say. Saturday night into Sunday morning. And some of the modeling is already trying to bring in some light snow well before daybreak on Sunday. Now, initially, I think this is going to be hard-pressed to reach the ground. Air is going to be very dry, but the air column will saturate, and we will start to see some light snow. Now, if you're going to be out and about traveling early on Sunday, say around daybreak, I'm not expecting a lot in the way of travel difficulties. The snow at that point will be pretty light, accumulations under an inch. Just take it slow. The bulk of this is coming, for the steadier and heavier snow anyway, later in the morning into the afternoon. Here we are at 10 a.m. The darker the blues, the heavier the snow. Pretty good swath of snow in through up north central parts of Ohio at 10 a.m. And then as we get into the early afternoon, still snowing. Now, what we're going to be keeping a close eye on is the transition over to rain. Where's this going to end up? That's going to have implications on our forecast. This is the NAM model, which last night was a warmer solution. Now, this morning's NAM has shown a little bit of a cooler look again, keeping the rain south of our viewing area. Now notice as we go ahead then to late afternoon, rain gets up to Wheeling, perhaps into Pittsburgh, Dover, New Philly, possibly. And we're going to have to watch out on this in the southern part of our viewing area in particular for a changeover to rain, I suspect, late in the afternoon and early in the evening on Sunday. Now this is the NAM. The GFS is more aggressive with the warm air and brings the rain a little farther north. Here's the GFS idea. It suggests that we could get rain up to Route 30. Our in-house model, it's called the RPM. It's what I often show on TV. Actually brings the rain all the way up into the northern part of our viewing area. That's kind of an outlier right now. Something we're going to take note of, but it is an outlier at the moment. So wherever we see a changeover to rain, of course, your snow totals are going to be a little bit lower. We're going to then just talk about the timing real quick on the end of the precipitation, because of course Monday is a work and school day. Here's Monday morning, the steady snow pushing off to the east at this point. This is probably just leftover flurries at daybreak on Monday. I think the snow stops accumulating on average 2 to 4 a.m., something like that, Monday morning. Monday afternoon, nothing more than a flurry as we get a little break, and then things get interesting again as we head towards Tuesday. I talked about this yesterday. Cold air in place and moisture attacking that cold air, and this could be ice for a time on Tuesday. Depends on the timing. The earlier the precipitation gets in, the better the chance for some freezing rain and sleet. All of this ugly red and purple and pink, that's ice coming in perhaps around midday on Tuesday. If the precipitation were to be slower and the atmosphere had more of a chance to warm up, could see a faster changeover to rain. Speaking of rain, at some point it is probably going to change over to rain. Here's a look at Tuesday, late in the afternoon into the evening, raining. And we've got a lot on our plate right now, but at some point we might have to start talking about minor flood potential midweek with a pretty good dumping of rain and our pretty impressive snowpack undergoing some melting. Can't really concentrate much on that yet because there's so much, there's so many other things to talk about, but something to, kind of keep in mind, keep in the back of your head that we might have some flooding issues to contend with during the middle of next week. Real quick, back to our snowstorm. A few words on the model trends. Here's the SREF, Short Range Ensemble Forecast. Whenever I minimize my browser or shrink it, this graph always shows up a little weird. Bear with me for a second here. Here's the SREF probabilities of precipitation with our event. The blue is snow, the green is red. Notice, this is during the day Sunday, this lighter area here. Notice the blue is replaced by green late in the day, according to the SREF. So the SREF is one of those models that kind of is kind of mongering for a changeover to rain, even up into Trumbull County on Sunday. Again, probably an outlier, but something we have to note and keep an eye on. That'll have implications on our snow forecast. Here's a look at the kind of a range of computer models and the average accumulation when you throw in 10 or 12 different models. Each model represented by a line here. The average is this line with the boxes right here that I'm kind of circling. It's about 5 inches at the Youngstown Warren Airport. Jives with our forecast. Our current forecast that we put on TV last night looks like this: 4 to 6 for the entire WFMJ viewing area. Still needs to look at some things, but what I might do to kind of guard against this possible changeover to rain is cut out an area, maybe something like this, that's more in a 2 to 4. You could still get 3-4 inches down towards East Palestine, East Liverpool, Calcutta, but your odds of getting 5 or 6 are probably lower down there with the threat advertised by some models for a changeover to rain. I doubt I'm going to change much up here. Keep the idea of 4 to 6. If you start to see some rain sneaking up a little farther north than we bargained for, yeah, you're probably going to be closer to 4 than 6. But these are forecast challenges that we're going to be ironing out over the weekend. You've heard me preach 100 times. Check the forecast often. These things are not set in stone. As the storm evolves and starts to show its hand, the rain-snow line will become a little more obvious. And once it becomes a little more obvious, we'll be able to make more confident tweaks to our snow forecast. Heading into March, real quick note here. March is likely to be near or below average for the month. But I'll tell you, that's going to be a whopper of an improvement after the coldest February on record. We're going to finish February about 15 below average. 15 degrees for the month. March may be something more like a degree or 2 below average. So March will seem like a heat wave compared to February, even though compared to the averages, it's likely to be a little bit cool compared to a typical March. More on the spring forecast over the next couple of days. We've got so much on our plate right now, it's hard for me to spend a lot of time looking at the long range, but we'll try to take a peek at it. In the meantime, be sure and check out my updates on social media, Facebook and Twitter, and Instagram as well for cool pictures. I will be updating our forecast tonight on 21 News at 6 and 11. Andrew will have a full update for you tomorrow evening, and then I'm going to be on WFMJ Weekend Today Sunday morning during the storm. You'll see me on TV bringing you fresh radars and a fresh update on the forecast. So we've got you covered. This is the place to be right here at WFMJ 21 News. Our Facebook and Twitter feeds, we're going to keep you in the loop through the duration of this storm. In the meantime, have a great weekend.